Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is the much anticipated return of Clint Baker to Small Screen Live. Baker. Clint and Edward Lauder will be chatting about the latest comic book movie and TV show news, including, but probably not limited to, the Book of Boba Fett Episode 3, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, potential cameos, the Batman's movie release date possibly being delayed, and a whole lot of other stuff.
Book of Boba Fett, such a missed opportunity.
Hello. How are you doing? I hope you guys are doing very well. Yes, we've got Clint, who's going to be coming on to the show in a minute, which is fantastic. It's great to have Clint back. And before he comes on, I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. So hello to Bobby Anderson, saying, hi, everyone. Looking forward to the show. Thanks for B-Day wishes. Happy birthday, Bobby. I hope you're doing very well. Bobby says, melon farmers. I'm a potato farmer. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird joke. If you know I think it's a British movie critic show, you might know that. It's a very, very bizarre joke that I came up with.
It's also that when they dub R-rated movies for television edits, instead of mofos, they say melon farmers. So you always hear saying melon farmers.
I didn't know that, but
well, yeah,
now I know. Sean Harrigan's in the chat saying, welcome back, Clint. Yes, welcome back, Clint. Jedi Master EJ is here as well, saying hello there and welcome back, Clint. There's lots of good wishes, well wishes towards Clint this evening, which is great to see. And Jedi Master EJ also says, hey, Bobby, happy birthday. Yes, everyone wish Bobby a happy birthday. Sean Harrigan does so as well. He says, happy birthday, Bobby. And Sean Harrigan also says, Clint looks like he's about to tear into a masterful riff. Yes, he does in that. Yeah, he looks quite. It's like I'm ready to rock is kind of the look that he's got going on there. We've also got James in the chat saying, "What's up, everyone?" So everyone say hello to James. He is in the he's here for a second and then he's going to go somewhere. No one knows what he's up to. And everyone, and we've got movie and gaming aficionados also in the chat saying, "Hey, I'm here in the chat. Welcome." And then he also also says, hit that like and sub to Small Screen. Yes. Please do all of that. Like and subscribe. James is having fun. Who else do we have? In the chat? We have, yes, Bobby saying, hi, James, Danzig, EJ, and others I can't remember. A little hi. Ah, good. And then she says, I like being 73. Well, happy birthday to you, Bobby. We also have Chrysler in the chat saying, popping into the show popping in quick to show some love and smash that like button before I hit the roads for class. Catch it on the replay. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Chrysler. And Curtis is also in the chat saying, aloha there. Hi, Curtis. I hope you're doing well.
Hello there.
And I think everybody. We got Danzig in the chat as well. Wishing Bobby a happy birthday and also saying, hey, Small Screen family. Hello, family. Yes, and Jedi Master EJ's meme made it into the show. Thank you very much for that. That was brilliant. There it is. The wonderful Return of the Jedi. Talking of the Jedi, let's bring him in. Let's bring in the Jedi. Let's get rid of that incredible meme. There he is. He's
What's
back.
happening, gang? Oh, it's so good to be back. You guys are so nice. There's so much love. So much love.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, you'd think I was gone for forever. This is great, man. Thank you all so much.
Well, it does feel like a long time, doesn't it? Like I'm still kind of getting into the swing of things, but yeah, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
It's like The Jerk. The first day felt like a week. The second day felt like a year. The third day, that just felt like a regular day. But the fourth day felt like an eternity.
You know, Clint, man. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Steve Martin. I love that.
Oh,
movie.
yeah. So, yeah, anybody at home doesn't know what we're talking about, go watch The Jerk. It's the best. The cans. He hates those cans.
Another movie from the 70s.
Is that available on any streaming platform?
I don't know, but it should be, because it is it's one of the best movies of all time. It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
And it holds up. I mean, I've seen that way back in the day, and then watched it again later, and it's just as good. It's one of those.
You can rent it on YouTube.
Okay, cool. We can do that. But this is, you can't really go wrong with Steve Martin.
No.
So I mean, I finished a couple days ago. The new show he's in, which is Only Murders in the Building, which is on Disney Plus, and that's really, really good fun. It's good fun just to see Steve Martin back, Martin Short's in there as well.
It's two-thirds of Three Amigos. Like, how can you go wrong? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got so much stuff to talk about
so much
today, and I've noticed your T-shirt. So
oh yeah,
I think we should start.
Moss Eisley Cantina.
I'll stick around for that, and then I'll take off.
Here we go. We need James to stick around for this, because I think he's going to rip into you on this one.
I'm sure. I'm actually probably agree with him on a lot of this, but let's go. You want to lead the charge on this one, Edward? Give us your thoughts on. Yes. So we're talking about Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, we are. The Book of Boba Fett. Episode 3. So James and I have been talking about this kind of behind the scenes for, I think the whole time it's been on, and I do believe that you're quite positive towards it, aren't you, Clint? But I'm not going to put words into your mouth. But as far as I'm concerned, I thought the first episode was poorly edited, and all the episodes have been way too short. That's my main concern with that. But then again, it seems to be the problem with all these Disney Plus shows. The second thing I have, especially with episode 3, more than any of them, is that Boba Fett's an idiot. Like, I've been watching this show, and I've been like, why is he so naive? So literally, it's like it flits from past to present. So I love the bit where it shows you how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. I thought that was great. But ever since, whenever it goes into the present, everything he doesn't make sense. So the episode 3 has him pick up those kind of bionicle people that apparently have no money, yet they have enough money to buy very, very flashy looking, like, flying Vespers, hovering Vespers, and also have enough money to give themselves bionic arms, eyes, and all that shit. But apparently they're stealing water because they got no money, which I don't get. And then Boba Fett, rather interestingly, goes, "Yeah, work for me." Literally, it's like the first thing he does is like, "I don't know if you can fight, but yeah, work for me." And I was and then every time, I think I said this to James, Boba Fett takes his helmet off way too much in this show.
I said that to you.
Maybe you should,
Peter bikes to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think it's I echo your sentiments on that. But what do you think about it so far, Clint?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on this show. There's where do we start? First of all, I just love getting new material that is connected to the old stories. I've always wanted to know what happened to Boba Fett after the Sarlacc pit, and I like seeing that. I like the Tusken Raiders. I like the lore of Star Wars. I like them bringing things in like that. I don't like scooter Vespa bikes very much. Like, I was like, and I saw somebody else that said this, read it in a comment or something, but that looked like it was out of like The Fifth Element or something. And it didn't fit in with Star Wars. It wasn't dusty enough. These are shiny new bikes and stuff. And I was like, all of a sudden I'm watching Spy Kids. What the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Like really bad, fast moving CGI and stuff. But getting back to it, Boba Fett's a different guy. And what's weird is that we never knew him before under the helmet. So as far as like not wearing the helmet enough, he just survived for 5 years without a helmet. He wanted his armor back because it's sentimental, because it was his dad's, but I think he's probably gotten used to being out of the armor. Another thing I'm thinking about, just you saying it got me thinking, is we've never known how sharp he was. It's like, hey, he might just be badass, and maybe he is a dumbass. I don't know. I'm not saying he's a dumbass, but I'm just saying, like, every time something comes up, he kind of looks over to Fennec Shand, like, what should we do in this situation? It's almost like she's running this thing. And it could also be because he's so used to just beating people up and killing people, and he's trying to be a good guy now. Because I feel like he had a spiritual moment out in the desert and has changed to a new guy and trying to do the right thing and not just kill everyone all the time. And I think maybe he doesn't know exactly how to do that. That might be why he's pausing. You know what I mean? Ordinarily, I would have already killed this guy by now. But now, how can I do this the right way? Because you're right. He seems like an idiot. It's like every time something happens, he's like, well, what do we do now? I don't really know how to be a mob boss, but I want to be a mob boss. So what do we do? And that's kind of what's happening the whole time. And it is kind of like, I wouldn't say frustrating. It's just kind of like, is this supposed to be a comedy sometimes? You know what I mean?
It's frustrating for me watching it. And I just think he's very naive.
Yes.
And he seems to think everyone will automatically just accept him as the new daimyo, whatever they call it. Because he literally just went into some guy's hideout. Well, not even hideout, their palace, whatever that place is.
Jabba's palace, and he went and killed Bib Fortuna. He went and capped Bib Fortuna, and I inherited this area. But what are you going to do? And how are you going to maintain order? He's got to maintain order, and they kind of tried to show that in this episode, and they had Stephen Root, who is Milton from Office Space, the stapler guy. I'm going to burn down the building. He's a brilliant character actor. That guy is fantastic.
And Barry.
He's in Barry,
dude, that guy is amazing in any role that he does, and it takes a while sometimes. You're like, oh crap, it's Stephen Root. Like he's fantastic. But that guy, he's a douchebag basically. He comes over to spoiler alert, comes over to Boba to get a problem solved, but really he's the problem. And he needs to get rid of these criminals that are not paying for the super overpriced water and that are giving him a hard time. That's pretty devious to get the enforcer to come in and take care of your problem when he's the problem. But that's what he does, and it's pretty funny. There's like, well, come work for me. And I was like, come on, man. Like, he needs to get his hands dirty. I don't know if it's because he's he's older, maybe. And now this is the time where you're not supposed to be a foot soldier. You're the king now. You're supposed to sit on the throne and let other people work for you. I don't know what their angle is with this, but I don't know. I understand people's frustration, but I also am enjoying the cool backstories and the things that are happening, and they're about to tie a whole bunch of stuff together. I don't know if you heard, episode 6 of this show is co-written by Dave Filoni. So I have a feeling they're going to possibly tie in like Thrawn or Ahsoka or something else that is like heavy
Crimson
into the
Dawn.
Filoni verse. Say that again, James.
The Crimson Dawn.
Yeah,
I hope they do that, because I'm more interested in Crimson Dawn than the bloody Pikes or whatever they're called. I don't care. I don't care about them.
It's
okay. So
it's all going to be tied in. There's all these shows that they're all going to be tied in.
Go on, James.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been saying this day one, and Danzig says it too. Considering they're in the desert, they look too clean. Yeah. Like in the second episode, you had Boba Fett. They brought in the assassin that they had to fight in the first episode with, and just on the cap, you see on this cap, there's no dirt on it whatsoever. Everything looks so clean. All the street costumes look clean. Everything, it just looks so perfect, and it really takes me out of it. I think the best thing about the show was the backstory, the flashbacks. I really enjoyed those. They seem more in what you would expect from a Boba Fett series, or what we were kind of promised in the movie. Not the Judge Dredd one you were talking to me about, Edward, but like the one that the original premise they had was like be a Western, and he's got to find his armor, right? Yeah. But it would be like more like a Western. So like the flashbacks are like that, and I really enjoy them. But we're not getting them anymore because that chapter's closed now. Like spoilers for episode 3, but like they killed all the Tusken Raiders, and boom. Now that's how they tied in the Pikes, but they got rid of the best part of the show. And that chase scene, it was like 5 miles per hour. It was just it was bad, and you could tell everyone was on rigs. And like when the one kid went up on the building and he like scaled the building with his bike, like to avoid a bunch of rubble and stuff, like you could tell he was on a rig, and there was no momentum, no movement. And there was only like one shot where it looked like Rodriguez directed that last episode, and it was when the woman skidded up with the motorcycle, and it was like straight out of the Kira shot that everyone emulates. I didn't think Rodriguez directed this one until I saw his name again, just like the pilot episode, and I'm kind of like I'm disappointed. And I get what you say, Clint, that. And when I talked to you about this on Messenger, where you're like, you love the connectivity about it, and they're bringing all the other shows together. But this is it's a missed opportunity to do that with Book of Boba Fett, you know. And Edward, you talked to me after your interview yesterday. We talked about it backstage a bit, and you had said that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The connectivity.
What?
But damn it! This is Advil I took. Anyways, so it was a connect. Yeah, okay. So it's the wrong vehicle just to use it for the connectivity, I think. And Danny Trejo was cool with the baby Sarlacc. I thought it was cool too, but I think that was glossed over and it wasn't executed well. The mayor's valet or sidekick or whatever, he seems. If the target, I don't know, if you're gonna make a Boba Fett series, are you aiming it at kids or are you aiming it at the OG fans? Because he only had a couple scenes in the original trilogy. Or are you trying to get a mix of both because you're also appealing to the Jango Fett fans? You know? I don't know. I think it's a missed opportunity. Oh, yeah. Okay. So go back to, I remember what I was going to say now. You think that because they realized that they wanted to stretch it out for a couple of episodes, that they heavily re-edited it?
Yeah,
right?
I do. I think they did.
It was supposed to be 4 in the original, and then probably they like, oh no, we need 7. And yeah, the Vespas, they want to sell toys and stuff, but there's no dirt, no scratches. They have to steal water. Then how can they afford these prosthetics? How can they afford these brand new Vespas? And I do agree with Tivo. He said that Black Kursatan, or however you say it, looks badass. I agree.
You can call him BK.
BK. I want him to see more. I was hoping he'd join up with Boba Fett. Or
he probably will do.
He will
be the big bad of the last half of the series, you know, because in the Darth Vader comics and the Dr. Aphra comics, he's kicked ass. You know, he's like such a badass character. And that fight scene, oh man, the fight scenes are clunky. The editing's clunky. I don't know if it's because they got another editor and Rodriguez shoots with an editor's mind and they don't have to edit with Rodriguez, or like you said, they were heavily edited. I'm not trying to be a downer on this. Like I finally
this is Eternals. A long downer rant, dude. You're
hold on. But I finally watched the Eternals and it looked good. It looked like actual film, you know. It wasn't like Shang-Chi where everything's like the lighting, James, the lighting, you know. But it's just there's something like you're on Tatooine. It's a sand planet. Why does everything look clean? Why does Boba Fett's armor look like plastic? Right? And I know it's a set, but just rub some dirt on the costumes, you know.
But
and
yeah,
the pacing is weird.
Yeah, that was something that they did. They did. I think in the Mandalorian they did a big thing where he like cleans up his suit, and there is a reason I think why it's like that. But I think you're right. It doesn't
look like metal.
No, it doesn't.
And then the big thing is like how much weight did he gain? How much weight did he gain from getting out of the Sarlacc pit to finding his armor? You know, how many years will pass? Because this takes between Return of the Jedi and
it's 5 years,
right? 5. So he gained a lot of weight in 5 years, and he got a lot older.
Yeah, that's why the underneath he got all that replaced. It's black. The old one was gray, and he painted the suit, which is pretty common. Also changed the colors of the of some things, which I did a whole rant before about that. But like the with the Mandalorians, different colors have to do with their life and their philosophies and whatnot.
Mhm.
Red, this focuses heavily on Red. That's a tribute to a lost one, I believe. So I think
That looks like
after
plastic.
yeah, it does, but that's what paint does, on I don't
Metal.
think this is Beskar. It's his what they
It is
talked about
Beskar, like
Beskar,
it is
but it's
front
not
plate.
supposed to be his and Jango Fett, and his suit is a Durasteel technically in canon. It's supposed to be, but it's probably Beskar now because I think Din Djarin was like that Beskar needs to go back to the Mandalorians or whatever. So but I don't know.
Yeah, he did say something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a TV show, man. It's a TV
Yeah.
show,
See,
and
that's always your defense,
feels.
though, man.
No, I
It's
know
like,
it
oh,
is
it's a
my
TV,
defense,
but no, but it's like Book of Boba Fett.
I'm not
has
saying
been
it's not
working
trash.
up
I'm saying
for-
it's a TV show, and it feels like a TV show instead
Yeah,
of
it does.
feeling cinematic. Like like
doesn't even feel like
Mandalorian.
a good TV show, though, Clint.
Well, yeah, I think the problem is
Doesn't
that the
even look like
Mandalorian.
one.
Yes, but I also think
Mandalorian-
the problem is, sorry, Clint. Yeah, I
No
think
worries.
I'm gonna
Keep
back.
that
I'm gonna back you up on this, though. I think what you're saying is that the Mandalorian is super cinematic. Like everything they did in that show, it just looks incredible.
Right.
And if you're going to compare the Book of Boba Fett to the Mandalorian, then the Book of Boba Fett looks like a CW show.
Yes, it looks
And
like Star Trek Next Generation. You know what I mean? And even has the vibe. It almost feels like a Q. You know, in those episodes of Star Trek Next Generation when Q was on board and things could get campy and like do. That's what this show feels like a lot.
Yeah, but that was shot on film, and it looked a lot better.
Either way, I'm talking about the whole vibe of the show. I'm
Yeah.
like, is this a Disney Channel show? All of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's like
No, exactly,
it's like
yeah.
that's
That's
what
like
this show
Cobra Kai
feels like.
season 4 seemed
Yes,
like a Disney Channel show. Like,
exactly.
where did the directors go? And I just, technically speaking, Clint, it just doesn't look like it's not doing Boba Fett justice in the vehicle that it's supposed to.
I agree with you. I
He's a
completely agree with
bounty
you.
hunter. He's supposed to be dark and gringy and like he fights in the underworld. And yeah, if he's gonna go be the new Daimo, then make it about that. But why does everything have to be freaking clean? And then you have this bad, like, I'm sorry, I love Robert Rodriguez. He's my boy, but he's just, I don't know what's going on with this series, like Cash Money or something or what.
It reminds me of his kids shows, his kids movies and
Yeah,
stuff
it's
that
in the
he's
same
done.
vein.
That's what it reminds me of. I'm like, this is like Spy Kids or something. And it's got the campy kid. I don't know if they're going for it. I mean, this might be one of those moments where I'm like, dude, I'm 44 years old and this is for children. You know what I mean? And so they're
that's
like,
what I mean. Like, what demographic were they going for? Were they going for
Yeah.
the OG Star Wars fans, or are they going with the new ones, like the Jango Fett, or the brand new ones? You know, it's on Disney Plus, right? But it's just, you can do both, and you can make it good. I mean, how many movies did we grow up with that were adult movies, but they were aimed at kids at the same time?
Well,
but this is the thing that it puzzles me with this show, because when I first heard that they were doing this show, I was like, yes, this is a good idea, because the Boba Fett in The Mandalorian was actually quite raw. Like when the first moment you saw him, that fight scene, that episode is directed by Robert Rodriguez in The Mandalorian season 2. It was the episode
Badass.
that it's so good that I rewatched that episode the other day. I was like, God, he looks like a madman when he's fighting, and they try to get elements of that in this as well, but there's something about the choreography that's not quite right. It looks very slow. I wonder whether Tamora Morrison just couldn't do it, so they were like, okay, we're going to have to do something here. Like that fight with the Wookiee. I think he's a Wookiee, right?
Black Chrysanthemum is a Wookiee, yes.
Yeah. It felt really labored. Like everything, like every punch was slow, and like also like I get that. I don't understand why Boba Fett's in a back to tank all the time. Like the only time we've actually seen someone use that was Luke Skywalker, and he used it for barely any time, and he had his hand cut off and everything. So I suppose Boba Fett they're trying to show that Boba Fett's really like this whole experience before. He's older, and then maybe everything that happened with the Tusken Raiders has kind of really knocked it out of him. But I think that one of my biggest problems with this show, sorry, Clint, is the timing. I'm constantly puzzled by when this is supposed to take place, because Tamora Morrison doesn't look the right age to be playing Boba Fett. and he's constantly taking his mask off, so you're constantly reminded that, oh god, yes, it's Temuera Morrison. I wish you just keep the helmet on.
And we were talking yesterday, we keep expecting Anakin to show up, and we got to remind ourselves that like Darth Vader's dead.
Yeah, I literally thought that scene, which I think is a really good scene, when he goes back to the camp, the Tusken Raiders camp. I was literally expecting Anakin to turn up, and I was like, oh wait, no, that's the wrong time.
100%, Sean. Yeah, Edward mentioned this to me yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was rushed.
Yeah. I think they had drama with Pedro Pascal. There was rumors that there was drama, and then they said there wasn't, and all that. I think there was, and they probably rushed this show into production. Said, okay, you go do your Netflix show, and we'll.
What you mean?
The Last of Us or the rest?
Conflicts. He's doing The Last of Us now.
Yeah. There was a lot of rumors that there was some drama with him and on the set back then, and then all of a sudden that he was leaving the show and then not. And I think they whether it was dramatic, I think
debunked. That was all.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but now here we are a year later, and we have you saying that this show was rushed into production, and conveniently it took the place of that other show, and conveniently he's working on The Rest of Us. So maybe there was a tinge.
Mandalorian season 2, because that was always scheduled for the summer of 2022.
I think they just thought. I think they just thought they could capitalize on
the
like
Boba Fett reveal.
Not just that, but the incredible goodwill that I think they got from Star Wars fans after the end of Mandalorian season 2. Like that, even though I thought I do hope in the future that these Star Wars shows are going to go away from just being like, oh, another legacy character turns up. But that Luke Skywalker reveal was a massive moment, and I think they really thought, we can really use this, and I think they also probably are slightly worried about Temuera Morrison. I do wonder whether like his age, and also the fact that he then had to go and film Aquaman 2, probably got that there was a problem with that, and also he's in the Flash as well, isn't he, Temuera Morrison? I think he's turning up in the Flash as well. He's in the cast list, so it's like
he was in Aquaman, I think.
Yeah, he's Aquaman. Yeah. He's Aquaman's dad.
Yeah,
but then I think he's playing the same character, which is weird. I don't know why he's in that movie, but apparently he is in that movie.
The Flash.
Yeah, he's in the Flash. So it's like he's got this. It was probably, you're probably right. It's a load of scheduling problems, and then they were like, we just want to get this out as quickly as possible. Robert Rodriguez probably wanted to do. I'm pretty sure a lot of this has come from Robert Rodriguez, like being like, let's get this done, because he's now off doing
usually he's good.
Show.
Usually he's good like that. Like he's a one-man army with that. But that's why I'm like, so what's going on with this? And Zodiac, you're right. Being rushed would affect the writing 100%. 100%.
There's something about this, about the vibe of this show, though. It feels like there are moments when it feels like real and Star Wars, like real, and then there's also moments that feels like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know what I mean? Yeah. It feels it like I don't jank. I don't know the word.
We haven't even gotten the episode that Kevin Tarkarian or whatever you say his name is, Tranchion, is directed in this. He was a big mainstay in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. director. I'm looking for that episode. Really? Yeah, because it should be good. Yeah.
There's sometimes points where like you could maybe have somebody bonk somebody in the head and them go, you know what I mean? And that would fly, and that wouldn't happen in Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't happen in Mandalorian either. But there is a weird campy vibe in this show, and
it did happen in New Hope in the re-release when George Lucas added that bonk when the stormtrooper hit his head on the door.
Oh yeah, well those kind of work.
I agree with you. And I think like the flashbacks are the most Star Warsy things.
Yeah, agreed. That Rancor is cool. I don't know if that's Moochie or not, but that Rancor and the thing like, hey, the Hutts are carried through the town. I walk on my feet. I guarantee you, he's going to be riding that Rancor through town by the end of the series.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And I have a feeling. I got a lot of stuff right on this when I did a theories video about this show, and one thing I didn't get right is that the Tusken Raiders all got killed, but I have a feeling he's going to try and do some kind of like we saw it in the trailer. He gets all the crime lords together and tries to get a corporation with these guys, and I'm pretty sure that they're all going to turn on him because he hasn't shown any muscle and hasn't gotten any respect from anybody, because he doesn't rule with respect. He rules by clumsily bumbling around, and so
hiring a bunch of Vespa kids.
Yeah, but exactly.
And
but
good
I have
thing there's trap doors too to take out his enemies when they need it conveniently.
No, those trapdoors have always been there. That's in Return of the Jedi.
Come on. Yeah, but that was so clumsily staged, man. Like we all knew it was coming. Like it was just,
of course, but
it's just bad.
That Wookiee, I did constantly think that Wookiee would have torn them all apart.
Dude, Black Chrysanthemum
pretty
is
easily.
badass.
Yeah,
if Luke Skywalker's gonna fall for it, though, BK is gonna fall for it too. You know what I mean?
No, I know, but it's just like, okay, everyone stop, stay.
Everybody get out of the way.
It felt very contrived, and there was lots of like what's it, Fennec Shan, like literally she could have just turned to the camera and winked and then done the thing. Yeah, that's
the vibe I'm talking about. But what I was gonna say is that I have a feeling that in like when they turn on him, I was hoping, because this would be badass, if an army of Tusken Raiders came out and like wrecked shop and rescued him. But I don't think it's going to happen anymore, because his guys all got killed. But I have a feeling Black Chrysanthemum, because he let him go and was cool, is going to save him later.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to be they're going to be even. And that guy's badass. I have a feeling he's going to be in the book I have a feeling he's going to turn up in Obi-Wan series, because he's in the comic. He fights with Obi-Wan and saves he actually goes after Uncle Ben, and Obi-Wan saves him, and it's pretty cool.
I also think, because that show is also going to be set on Tatooine, isn't it?
Sorry, Edward, one more. Danzig, what he's gonna do it one more time, because Robert Rodriguez always works in threes. It's like he'd make a short film and he would just times it by 3, and that would be his feature film. So like he'll get pissed off at the mayor one more time for not being able to see him.
But I think that's Robert Rodriguez's last episode. That one that we saw.
He executive produced this, so he like oversaw everything, which is another stake in my heart, which is unfortunate. I thought this was like, when I saw the Book of Boba Fett episode, the Mandalorian episode with Boba Fett come back, and it was kick ass. I was like, okay, is Rodriguez coming back to form? I mean, We Can Be Heroes was good and it was fun, and it wasn't as I guess cringy as the Spy Kids movies, even though those were fun for the time. But I thought that Rodriguez was getting back to the top of his game, directing and executive producing and writing. But now it just seems like he threw in the speeder bikes or the Vespas as an homage to George Lucas back in the day, and then Robert Rodriguez's first Hollywood film back in the day, Red something, I can't remember. But yeah, and I think BK's shoulder pads need to have actual spikes instead of rounded spikes. But it's a Disney show, so it can't be like spiky spikes. And some dirt on them. Give me some dirt. But I just want to say, because I keep forgetting to mention this, I think it's because they're shooting digital now, and they're like, oh, we're shooting digital so we can do it in post, or we'll make it clean, like we'll make dirty up. But when digital first came out, you still had that film kind of look, that they were trying to replicate the film, the grittiness of it. But now it just seems like no one cares anymore, and they're going to shoot on digital, and it's going to be all clean lighting and clean costumes, and just have all this veneer, the sheen over it. And to me, it just takes me right out of it. At least with the Eternals, it did have that artistic look, a different look to it, which I appreciated. That's why I watch a lot of films from the 70s, I think.
They do look better, I think, and it's surprising that I really thought, like when the Book of Boba Fett was announced, and they announced that it was going to be that Robert Rodriguez was going to direct episodes of it and be the executive showrunner, producer. Sorry, I was like, God, this could have the possibility of being like the most cinematic Star Wars, like out of all those, the shows that we're going to see, this one could be the one that was brilliant, like really, really great. And it's kind of gone in the complete opposite direction for me. Like I have enjoyed the episodes. I've enjoyed watching them, but then I'm kind of left at the end just feeling really kind of deflated a bit. I think my main problem with it is story-wise. It's confusing, and I find Boba Fett just too ignorant, not ignorant, but too, because he's not ignorant. He's just too naive, and he's going around. He literally looks like a man that's going around with no plan, and it kind of is a bit upsetting, because I know you said before, Clint, that we're not sure how intelligent he was as a person, but he is the guy. He is the guy that in the original, he's only got 4 minutes of screen time, but we see here, like, he's the one that figures out that Han Solo is going to go out with the trash, and he's the only one that thought to do that, to wait for him. And I think that shows an element of intelligence. He's shown none of that in this show. He's someone that obviously they want to show that kind of more honorable side to him, like he's an honorable warrior kind of thing. But you're on bloody Tatooine, mate. It's like no one's honorable.
What they're trying to do with the character, but they're just not executing it properly. So it should have a clear through line, but it doesn't, and they keep missing the opportunities to represent that in the character.
I think someone said in the comments that he needs to kill someone, and I think that's probably that's going to happen at some point. He's going to just have to, and not only for the show, but to prove himself to some of these warlords and the crime bosses. I also don't get what the Hutts were doing there, because I was like, the Hutts are like, this is our territory. It was promised to us, and then they're like, actually, no, it's not our territory. We're going now. And after they had 2 failed assassination attempts, and then they're just like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to go off to wherever the hell they live.
I just realized
for business.
It doesn't make any sense.
I just realized that we are watching the Boba Fett from the Christmas special. It's not from the movies; it's from the Christmas special.
Yeah,
we are watching that the animated character. That's what we're watching.
The animated
now. It's a bit like that.
The animated child was actually pretty smart and badass, like in Clone Wars and stuff. Boba Fett was a badass and led a whole crew of bounty hunters as a child. So he should be a lot wittier and a lot more on point. I don't know what's going on, but this show, this is a direction problem. It's the directing, and it's the vibe that these directors, when they're putting their own stank on it. And I'm blaming Rodriguez. I think he's done too many kids movies, and instead of and I think he's like, oh, this is a kid show. It's for Disney. Let's make it a kid show, and it feels that way. As soon as I saw the mayor's. And you know what? Props to Rodriguez. I couldn't do what he does. I mean, who the hell am I? I'm some dumb guy at home in my spare bedroom. But Rodriguez is badass. But I'm just saying, compared to other Star Wars stuff, it's definitely weird. And the mayor's right hand man that goes over to pay tribute to that guy, he reminded me of a Star Trek character. Like a weird, the mayor says that blah, 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 blah. It reminds me of
it was more serious than that, but I understand what you mean.
TNG characters.
That didn't rub me the right way either. It was like, it seemed like something out of a sitcom,
Yeah, it does.
That character.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Like, my favorite episode, Clint, so far has been number 2. And it wasn't directed by Rodriguez, and that's why I'm so disappointed. Like, how can you go from directing that amazing episode of Mandalorian to doing these episodes? Is like someone really directing and he's just stamping his name on it, or
these episodes were all the episodes so far. I believe the first 3 were all written by Jon Favreau. So
the whole series, for the most part, is written by Favreau.
Because we've read that it's all written by Favreau, but IMDb says he only wrote the first 2 episodes. Then it was that Nora something did the rest of the episodes from 3 to 7. Yeah, he's like, I think you're right. It's it's Boba Fett from the Christmas special. He did say he has rode beasts larger than the Rancor. Yeah, that's true. It could be him.
I have ridden beasts larger than the Rancor. He likes to do all that, and it's like, I think another thing about this show that I actually do like is that Tamura Morrison, he's a Kiwi, and he's an indigenous. He has indigenous backgrounds, roots in New Zealand, and I think there's a lot of that in this show. and especially all the bits with I'll come to that in a bit, but all the bits with the Tusken Raiders. A lot of that was, I think, Tamura Morrison. I think he put a lot of that into the show as well, where he's talking about that this is their lands, and there's a lot of that about history in New Zealand between the original Kiwis and the British. So I do think there's a bit of that goes into the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert says we are only 3 episodes in. Is it not possible for the show to get better with time? I hope so. I really hope so.
But is that will that justify? Like, it seems to be, for me anyways, with these Disney Plus shows, first couple episodes are rocky or whatever, then the last 2 are really good. It's like I just watched Cobra Kai season 4 last week or whatever, and the whole series was crap. It looked like a Disney Channel friggin' director's like debut, but the last episode was amazing. And set up so many things. Like, why didn't we just do that? And yet, Robert, I gave it, the first episode, I was like, oh man, I hope they're not all like this. So I was like, okay, it's just the first episode. I'm not going to judge too harshly. But now we're already past the 3rd one, and we got those glow bike Vespas with a really slow chase scene. Like, come on.
I'm ready for a Ferengi to show up.
You just can't take my criticism, so you got to put the jabs in me, Clint. I'm sorry if I'm making you upset, but this is just my honest opinion on Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I'm agree with you, dude. Like,
we agree
pretty
with
much,
you.
pretty much everything, except maybe that I can give him a pass for revamping his suit because it was eaten up with acid along with his face. That's why he's been in a back to tank. And so I can give him a pass on that because he had a tattered suit that he got back, and so to refurbish his suit, maybe paint it, I can get over that. Maybe he wants to maybe he's a crime lord now and not some maggot on the street, so he keeps his stuff clean. He has a droid that keeps his stuff clean. I can back him on that.
And costume people to make it look like metal.
Yeah. But the actual writing and the characters, the way they interact, they're going in like going into a casino. It feels like Deep Space Nine or something. It's weird.
Oh, Deep Space Nine is that's a really good comparison.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like a campy 90s show. It doesn't feel like Star Wars. Yeah. It feels like bad aliens, like a bad.
Yeah, 9 is like my least favorite Star Trek show. But if you're going to compare it to anything, compare it to Babylon 5.
There, even that.
Babylon 5. I watched a show called Blake 7. I used to watch that. That's an English version of Star Trek, and it does remind me a bit of that. That's a bit of a comedy though. But I think
talked about that on the Jeremy Webb interview. Go check it out.
Actually, he liked that show as well. But I do also wonder whether Boba Fett just maybe Timothy Olyphant left some stank in that thing when he was using it, so maybe he just wanted to clean the hell out of it. Who knows? I honestly think Timothy Olyphant probably smells amazing, so I'm pretty sure that's not the case. But I was actually forgetting that he was in The Mandalorian season 2. It's like one of my favorite actors, and actually he's coming back for Justified. Even when a limited series coming out.
When Amy Sedaris, plays that mechanic lady, she feels it's a little campy. Hey there, blah, blah, blah. It's a little campy really too.
There is a lot of that actually in these new Star Wars shows. It's a bit too much. They're leaning too much on it, I think.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like that post-credit scenes in Internals with Harry Styles, and it kind of clicked with me today. I was thinking about it. It was like, oh, we'll bring in these actors, have a good time, and joke around on set, and we'll put that on screen too. It's like a big in-joke, and it kind of takes you out of the world. And I think that's my biggest problem with the series right now is it's taking me out of the experience.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I think I'm reserving judgment on it, and so I'm going to watch the whole series, and I'm going to get to the end. And if it's at the end and we still feel this way, then it's been a dud, and which is really sad because everyone wants to see Boba Fett. We've been dying to see more Boba Fett, and then it's just like, oh god, like this version. I mean, it's kind of weird because Boba Fett's a character that literally just had 4 minutes of screen time in a whole trilogy, and everyone was just like obsessed with this character. They did develop him quite well, I think, in the expanded universe stuff. Like if you read the non-canonical books, some of the I've actually got one in here somewhere, and he is so badass. It's like, and they've just not done that in this. This is the main. I think my main problem. He's just not badass enough. But we had that moment of him being really cool like that in the Mandalorian, and this show has had none of that, which is a shame.
I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping that gang that killed. He saw the initials. That they.
Oh, he's gonna he's gonna murder all of them.
I hope he kills all of them, and then everybody's like, oh, he's still Boba Fett, and everyone he's like, I tried to be a nice guy, but sometimes you got to kill a bunch of people, and there you go. Now you guys want to form a corporation, or do you want me to kill you too, like I just did these guys?
If they're trying to do that angle, James? Then they didn't really set it up properly, like in Unforgiven, where he's like, oh, I'm not going to kill anymore. I'm not going to drink any whiskey. And then when that moment hits, where he's like, go get me the whiskey, and then he gets his gun, and he goes back into town. They have to build that moment up. And it doesn't seem like, here we are talking about, we think he's confused and clumsy and naive, right? But there's no precedence for him to be this way. Unless we saw it when the Tusken Raiders died this episode, but it didn't really hit the mark either.
It'll be a more drastic reaction when he does all of a sudden become badass. You play bumbling all the whole time, and then all of a sudden, boom! Then you're like, oh, because
but what's the motive for him playing that?
Well, I
we haven't gotten to that episode yet, so we can come up with theories. And imagine we can just spend the whole show imagining what would be the catalyst for something like what would make Boba Fett badass.
Well, this is what I think is going to happen. Do you want to know what I think is going to happen? So I think he's going to kill those guys that killed the Tusken Raiders. It's going to be brutal, and after that, he's going to kind of be like, okay, I'm no longer going to kill people. I'm going to become not a pacifist, but this is the version of Boba Fett that we've got now, basically, after those events. And then there will be a moment in the present day when Boba Fett has to return to that sort of violence. I wonder whether there'll be a moment when he's like, I forgo violence. I will no longer hurt people or kill people. And then it'll probably go up to the minute where he except that guy,
and then boom, over.
Because we know there's going to be a scene with him in like some sort of syndicate of crime bosses and things. I really hope Crimson Dawn ends up being in this. I was hoping for that so much. I have a feeling it's not going to happen, which will be a shame.
There was some leaked from his mouth. He accidentally started talking about in an interview about a gunner ship, and Ming-Na Wen was like, hey, yeah. And he's like, oh, my bad. He almost spilled the beans.
Yeah, that was funny.
Tom Holland does. Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully, all of the puzzle pieces we're trying to put together weren't all in the trailer like we were told. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some wacky Thrawn shows up or something super cool happens and it changes everything.
He's gonna kill someone. He's gonna kill someone, and all of a sudden you're gonna hear Misa, and he's gonna be like, no, don't bring him back.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna turn out he's gonna be a Sith.
So far, I've really enjoyed it for all of its shortcomings. I could sit there and be like, God, man, on this. But then there's certain things that pop up where I'm like, dude, that's great. That's great. I'm excited. I mean, I could tell you I'm going to be watching the next episode at 1:55 in the morning when it shows up. I'll be the first guy in line to watch it and hope maybe as they cycle in different directors, some of these episodes will be a little bit better than the last one. I'm with James. I really like the second episode a lot. So
the second one was better, I think, than all the others. But we watch and hope, I suppose, what Star Wars series after this? Because there are quite a few coming. Is the one that you're looking forward to the most?
All of them, like all of them. I really want to see Obi-Wan, probably. I'm excited about that. Like, I'm excited about all of them. Once they canceled Carano, like I was hoping they would take Bill Burr and make Rangers of the New Republic with Bill Burr, because I think Bill Burr
That
was
would be
fantastic.
cool,
It would have been cool. I was just waiting. They didn't do it. And there's also rumors now that they're going to do a Bo-Katan series with Katie Sackhoff. I'm a huge fan of hers. I'm a gigantic Battlestar Galactica fan, and she was fantastic as Starbuck. I watched that entire series 2 times. I love her. I follow her on social media. She's a wonderful person. She just comes off as a nice person. I think she's great. And so Bo-Katan, I hope they do it. I don't know if they're going to do that series though. That's a rumor.
That's a rumor. Yeah,
it's a rumor, and they somebody congratulated her. Well, they posted something on Twitter, and then Ming-Na Wen got on there, was like, congratulations, and then people took that as a confirmation. I think it's just that they know each other, and she was like, hey, congratulations, because like in my mind, I hope I'm wrong, because I want a Bo-Katan series. I love her. But I'm like, how many Mandalorian series are they going to have? You know what I mean? Okay, we got Din Djarin series, then we got this other guy that looks like him, Boba Fett series, then we're going to have a Bo-Katan series, and then, hey, well, screw it, let's have a Sabine Wren series, and then what's that other third guy that was in the background that we don't even know his name, that disappeared? Let's have a series for him. Like, I don't buy it, dude. I don't think they're going to have a third Mandalorian series.
I want a Star Wars Jeans Guy series. That's the series I want. But I think you're right, and I do wonder whether that Bo-Katan series is actually, I think, spawned off from the Rangers of the New Republic, because I think that series is done now, isn't it? After Gina Carano.
Yeah, they canceled that. Yeah.
So for me, it's The Acolyte. That is the show that I forget her name, the showrunner of Russian Doll. I think that show is the one show that's going to really, hopefully, going to bring Star Wars into like a new, not only a new genre, because it's going to be like, I think it's going to be almost like a political thriller. I get the impression, but I think it's going to make, because we're talking about how the Boba Fett is a bit of a kid's show more than anything. I think The Acolyte is going to be the show that's going to make it. Like, this is going to be like the type of Star Wars show that you might get on HBO Max. You know, like one of those kind of like almost like the Mayor of Easttown type Star Wars show. I really want that to be, because I think they just need to. I think Star Wars, now that they're doing all of this, they can branch out into different things, and I think there needs to be a more grown up, more kind of and I don't really want to use this word, but I can't think of anything else right now. Not more adult Star Wars, not porn, but I mean, you know, more.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, more exploring more adult themes and having something that's the bigger stakes, and also in another time era in Star Wars would be fun as well, I think. So yeah, that's the show I'm really looking forward to.
Just darker, something a little bit darker and more, you know, is cool. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to get that crazy, but when you get like the scariness factor of the Ring or Mordor, you know, just a little darker than what it is, because right now it's starting to get super Disney. And but I like the idea of The Acolyte. That sounds awesome. Some of the Old Republic stuff, man, all the cinematic footage and stuff from the games, they could really do some cool Old Republic stuff would be fantastic.
What was that video game that they announced that had the incredible cinematic trailer with the drums and everything? Is it?
I can't think of it right now.
Oh, that was probably one of the best pieces of Star Wars things I've seen in a long time, and it's a cinematic trailer for a video game that I just was like, oh man, I wish I could do something like this. Like, yeah, it is Eclipse. It's called Eclipse, but like explore different worlds, bring in different. Really, I've always been like, I would love like a horror Star Wars thing. Like, you know, we're hearing all of this about how Doctor Strange 2 is going to be like a serious horror movie, which is apparently the rumor that's being posted around online now. I want something like that in the Star Wars universe, because it's the kind of universe that would really work. I think it's like you could do something really fun, really creepy on like some sort of, I mean, it's the Sith is scary. Lean into that, you know.
I've always liked that, like Asajj Ventress. She's one of my favorite
Yeah. Oh,
characters, and like her, what are the sisters? What are they called?
oh yeah, I
The
forget their
something
name.
sisters. I forgot what
Yeah.
they're called, but all that they're like doing spells and stuff, and there's supposed to be some pretty cool stuff. I don't know if they're going to get into like the world between worlds and all this crazy Filoni lore that was in the animated series, but it could get pretty cool. They just got to quit doing this campy stuff that they're doing. Like it's kind of bumming me out. And I also feel that I think the cameos are adding to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're ruining it a bit.
Yeah, like Jennifer Grey,
yeah.
I think that from Flashdance, she's the Twi'lek that's runs a casino, and and then like all these people that they have popping up, it's like James said, it's like distracting. It takes you out of the show. You're like and you're like, hey, is that so and so? And they're like, hello, blah blah blah, and it's nice for them. Like, hey, they get to fulfill their dream of being in Star Wars, but like
But
just
feels stunted,
yeah, but now you've taken me out of my show. Why don't we just throw you under a stormtrooper helmet and keep you in the corner anonymous and let us, worry about making a good show, not having a bunch of cameos. I don't know.
Are you worried at all about the future of Star Wars or not really?
No, because as much backlash as they get, they're going to keep trying new things. They're like, you know what?
Yeah.
This didn't work. It worked when we did Mandalorian. We got comfortable with the way we were able to easily make, using the volume. They figured out they can make these shows that with the moving backgrounds and all kinds of LCD sets that they're making, and they figured out they could do this. They made it really awesome, and it worked. And then they got comfortable because they got their formula. So now they did it again on Book of Boba Fett, but they did it half-assed. And now they got like people saying, "Dude, nothing's dirty," and we all noticed. You know what I mean? They were like, "This doesn't look as good as Mandalorian. What's the deal? Are you saving money on post? What? There's something." And every YouTube channel that's out there talking about this, it's going to get back to them, and they say, "Hey, man, we got to up our game. We tried to cut our post budget on this show and people noticed," you know what I mean? And
yeah, I think you can notice that the budget's a bit lower on this show than it probably was on The Mandalorian. And the other thing I was thinking when you're talking about different versions of Boba Fett, I think they kind of messed up a bit in a weird way by making The Mandalorian first, because The Mandalorian, when you first meet The Mandalorian, literally that is what everyone wanted Boba Fett to be. Was The Mandalorian. Where I remember watching the show, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is the Boba Fett show. Like, just they've changed the name and it's a different character, but The Mandalorian is what we all expected Boba Fett to be like. And then they introduced Boba Fett, and then they're like, well, Boba Fett's a bit different than what you expected. I wonder whether they just shot themselves in the foot a bit by doing it that way. But I honestly think The Mandalorian is going to continue, and it's going to be like their main show. And then all of these other shows are going to kind of spin off it, and like probably they'll be all right, but they won't be as good as like I almost see the Mandalorian being like The Walking Dead in a weird way, and having lots of spin-off shows that aren't quite as good, but probably end up getting better over time. I want something a bit different from my Star Wars now, because I feel like they're in a place where they can really explore and can really play around as well. I think you're right. They got very complacent because they were like, oh, people like this. People like what we're doing with The Mandalorian. Let's just do more of it and probably cut the budget a bit, make it fewer episodes, make it a limited series. But I think the overall a lot of Star Wars fans are not happy with this show. Like, I've heard lots of negativity around it. I've personally enjoyed it, but I think it can be better. For me, it's like a C+ kind of show, like B- C+ show. Whereas I was hoping for it to be an A+.
I'm with you. I give it a B, even B.
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yeah, dude, go for it.
You're always allowed to talk.
You guys were talking about the Acolyte. You're hoping to be more darker, more adult oriented. Yeah. Why didn't they do that with the Book of Boba Fett? That's the perfect character to do it with, and the perfect environment to do it in. This is my problem. And yeah, there's a lot of hype on Twitter and a lot of people bashing it, and that's not for me. Like, I'm still want to give it a chance, but I'm not going to go out of my way to bash the show. I will talk about my criticisms with you guys, and I think they're just objective. But I don't think that it deserves all the hate it's getting, because especially only after the first episode. Yeah, it's disappointing, but I think that if you're going to go adult-oriented Star Wars, Book of Boba Fett would be the perfect miniseries to do it in. But here we are saying, I hope they take it adult when the Acolyte comes out. Like, why are we just passing the buck to that now? Like, that's what we were promised with the Book of Boba Fett and that stinger teaser at the end of Mandalorian season 2, or whatever, or if it was the episode with that Rodriguez directed, I can't remember.
I think you're right. I know from personal experience, I was really hoping for this show to be more like grittier, especially at the end. Like they teed it up so well at the end of The Mandalorian. It literally, the start of this show literally starts with Boba Fett murdering a load of people, which is at the post-credit scene at the end of The Mandalorian season 2. And I feel like we haven't seen anything as close to be as anywhere near that one tiny scene. So you're right. I think this is a missed opportunity so far. This is the same thing I'm going to have to say again and again, James, is that there still are 4 episodes left. It could be salvaged, but
aren't you supposed to set this stage with your first?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think they have
the
done.
10 pages of your script. You're supposed to set the stage for what the audience is supposed to. So if we're getting like 6 Vespa bikes or whatever, that's setting the stage, right?
Yeah. No, you're right.
That's just a one-off fun thing. I don't know.
I think all the blame has to be put at Robert Rodriguez's feet, James. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm joking. He's a guy that came in, executive produced the show and directed 2 episodes. He's not the story guy, and I think the problem with this is a story problem.
I don't know. The first episode and the 3rd episode, like, I was so disappointed when I saw his name come up in the credits. Honestly, it's like maybe he's been constrained, maybe he just doesn't care, maybe it's just for the money. Maybe he's still in kids mode. I have no idea, but it's night and day compared to his episode on The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Raj, go on. Sorry, Clint.
Oh, I was just because I think also he's. I was talking to James about this the other day. I was like, I think he's playing in their toolbox, though. You know what I mean? Like he's not at his studio. He's over there in their place doing their thing, and probably I would be intimidated if I was like working on Star Wars. That's like the first thing I ever fell in love with. Like, I'd be scared to touch anything. You know what I mean? Like, okay, which sucks. It's a wasted opportunity because he's such a great director. Yeah, sometimes
he didn't seem intimidated in the Mandalorian episode, though.
I agree with you.
Confusing.
I agree. He did.
The other thing that's interesting, he didn't, but he was a last-minute addition.
And he was shot outside too, not on the set.
Yeah, and he was brought in at the very last minute because he wasn't supposed to direct that episode. He did it as a favor. So I wonder whether a lot of the groundwork for that episode was already set. So they already knew what they wanted to do for that episode, and literally it was like a point and shoot type thing for Rodriguez. Maybe it was just very lucky that it turned out that way. And then when Rodriguez gets maybe they just pitched it to him being like, this is a kids show, we want this to be a kids show. He'd literally just come off doing that Netflix kids show. What is it?
We Can Be Heroes.
So maybe he was still in that. It was good, but that's what it was. It was a kids show. Maybe he was still in that mindset. Maybe that's what they wanted, because again, there's only so much you can do. Like, we know this from having spoken to directors that do TV. There's only so much they can do. They're told they're brought in to do a job. I suppose the difference with this is that he is an executive producer, but we don't know how much influence he's really had on this show. Like, how much of it is, Favreau and Filoni doing what they want to do? Probably all of it. We don't know. We're only speculating.
Maybe Lucas called up and was like, "Hey, I want some Vespas. Can you put some Vespas in there?"
But I love how everyone was like, "This is not Star Wars," and like taking like a picture of the Vespas, and they're literally like, "Dude, this was literally our homage to George Lucas and American Graffiti," and like it's like more Star Wars than anything else that's been in this show so far.
It feels like prequel stuff, but not on Tatooine.
does.
It feels
It
like
does.
prequels from another planet. You know, it's
Yeah.
super weird. I also heard long time ago that 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 Favreau wanted to do a Boba Fett show first, and that he was kind of iffy about it, and that instead of doing that, and he didn't want to screw up Boba Fett's story, so he did Mandalorian instead and made it a different Mandalorian. And you were saying how they came out of order. You know what I mean? I heard that that he originally wanted to do a Boba Fett show, but he said, "Hey, I'm going to play it safe and just do a different Mandalorian, so I don't get crucified upside down for screwing up Boba Fett."
Which is probably, in retrospect, was the right decision to take, because the Mandalorians ended up being such a popular show. Like, and it like that show ended. I was the first. I think the first episode I thought was good, but there were lots of episodes that were a bit filler in that first season, and then the second season was where it really, for me, just started to pick up. And that Ahsoka Tano episode, where it's like so heavily influenced by like samurai movies, that was the Dave Filoni episode. I think that was
Lone Wolf
maybe
and Cub.
That was so good. That episode was just so good, and they haven't. And then there was there were two standout episodes for me, which was that one and the Robert Rodriguez one. And interestingly enough, they're the two episodes that bring in, previously known Star Wars characters. So maybe that was it for me. But I just got the impression that these episodes had a bigger impact than any of the other ones, and I just think they were slightly different. I don't know if that.
Well, I think like with Book of Boba Fett, we're not having like a WandaVision or Captain America or Falcon the Winter Soldier kind of syndrome where it's like waiting for the next Marvel character cameo to show up. I don't think anyone's like was waiting for Luke to show up in Mandalorian season 2, and there was rumblings, but and then the one for the last episode of this series. But I don't think we're all theorizing like we do with the Marvel shows.
No.
But Robert Rodriguez said, I looked up in the interview on January 3rd, he said, I wanted Boba to have his own language. I didn't want it to feel like, oh, this is Robert stuff. I wanted it to feel like Boba stuff. I came up with a way to film him in a different way than they had been filming The Mandalorian, to give him a different type of action and movement and attitude and point of view. So you've just got to strap in because, it definitely feels like it's cut from the same cloth as The Mandalorian, but it's different character and it's more of an underworld kind of story. We definitely have a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot going on in this season. It's a mind blower. So you've got to strap in, because I think Boba will be synonymous with having a really great time, because it's a lot of challenges he's up against and he deals with in a very unorthodox way. So I think like you guys are right. Like the kid movies has seeped into he's like, I'm not going to go for like the action oriented Robert Rodriguez style. Go for like more of a clean cut Disney style.
Yeah, maybe.
So, and like I said, I understand what they're trying to do with the character of Boba Fett. I just don't think it's executed properly. That's all.
I agree, 100%.
Which is crazy coming from you, Clint, because you usually like everything.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy a lot of parts of this thing. I'm just they're executing it poorly, and I still enjoy it because I'm getting fed. I need Star Wars, and I'm getting fed. But it's like this definitely isn't a sirloin. This is like a cheap hamburger,
Yeah.
Which can be good when I'm hungry. Sometimes
Interesting enough. I watched the third episode of this in a McDonald's, so probably the perfect place to watch Boba Fett.
No, I'm not like when it comes out, when the third episode came out, it was like, oh yeah, that came out tonight. It was like an hour after it premiered, and I just waited till the next morning, and I put it on, and I watched like half of it, and then I turned it off. It's like, I'll get back to it later. It doesn't have, I'm looking forward to the fourth episode. See if it seems like they set everything up now, and then like we got all that stuff out of the way. Maybe it'll be better, but don't do that in series anymore. The first couple episodes need to be as strong, especially if you're doing a limited mini series. If you're doing like a 6-season show, then that's okay. But if you're only doing 7 episodes, like the audience feels cheated with like 3 mediocre episodes at the start. And to me, that's what Hawkeye was too at the beginning.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Cad Bane shows up. That's who I really want to see.
I hope Darth Maul
that would
shows
be
up.
cool. But this is the thing, we are still talking about, like, you know, old school Star Wars characters coming up to kind of almost salvage this. Like, because I would love it if Darth Maul turned up, or Cad. But I think Cad Bane would be really
Yeah,
interesting.
but would we be talking about it if it didn't like fall short? You know,
No,
like, that leak
yeah,
of the character coming out, I think that was done purposely because of the bad reaction to the first episode. We didn't hear anything about it before it started, and then almost immediately after the first episode started getting that backlash, then I'm not going to say it on here, but
what?
who they're expecting for the last episode, just in case people are
Han Solo.
No. Sure, go ahead, say it.
Yeah,
it's out there. It's
been out there. Yeah,
I think we can say that.
But if they're going to bring Crimson Dawn in, I think it would be cool to bring in Darth Maul, just if we're going that way. So.
I think Darth Maul would be I think either Darth Maul or Cad Bane would be interesting to bring them in, because it would make sense. Because
Darth Maul's already dead at this point.
Yeah, I know.
No, he's not. He's not, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he died when Anakin was a kid.
He died in Clone Wars. He came back.
Yeah,
and then he died again.
Yeah.
He died again. Obi-Wan killed him in the desert.
Yeah, they can't bring him back after that episode.
Mm-mm.
That was episode of Rebels, wasn't it? Where
it was Rebels.
Well, maybe it was the one clone he kept that was unaltered.
Yeah,
and then he became Darth Maul too.
Also, he projected his essence into the clone.
There you go.
I completely forgot it. I completely forgot that this is again me getting confused with the bloody timeline, because I'm like, when is Star Wars Rebels set? Okay, it's actually before. Okay, fine. Yeah, he's dead. But then again, there was that whole stuff with Ray Park as well that went on. So I told you the other day, James, that I think they're done with that character now, unfortunately. So it may be
the actor, but not the character.
I think they're done with the character. I don't know.
You know what they should do is make one with like blue and black face paint and call it Darth Maul, and then it'll be all right. And he's got ball lightsabers. Yeah.
They got his brother. Isn't his brother like? Sorry, Clint. I think is his brother around? Doesn't Darth Maul have a brother?
He does. I think he got killed.
Did he?
How many times though? If it's twice, then they can't bring him back. If it's only once, they can bring him back.
What I was gonna say is because Darth Vader's in this. I don't know how far
Darth
back the timeline.
He's dead.
He's dead.
It's a flash. It's a flashback, is what it is. They're having. There's going to be some epic battle between Hayden Christensen and Obi-Wan, like in
Obi-Wan,
in the Obi-Wan series. But what I was going to say is I don't know if how far back they're going to go. If they could possibly bring back Darth Maul, because they're showing the time that Obi-Wan was on Tatooine and Rebels. He showed up there and he got killed. I wonder if they do that in live action. That would be pretty cool.
You know what they need to do is have a flashback in Book of Boba Fett of like the day before the battle of Return of the Jedi, before he goes to Sarlacc pit, and just like Boba Fett going and getting his armor cleaned and like talking to Jabba the Hutt and playing some cards and stuff, and you really connect with the character, and like he's got a girlfriend and stuff, and that way when he gets thrown into the Sarlacc pit, like you feel bad for him. Yeah, his girlfriend was a Tusken Raider too. There you go.
That upset me actually. They killed off the Tusken Raiders, because I was like that badass Tusken Raider was super cool, and I was hoping that she'd stick around.
Yeah, she was badass.
Yeah, she was really badass. Like I was thinking, God, she's better than fucking Boba Fett in this show. I was like she could kill a load of people.
I don't know if did they actually show her?
No,
maybe no.
I don't think they showed her. She might be like a lone survivor or something, which would be cool.
Maybe
I was on the fence though, like about actually seeing behind the Tusken Raider mask. I was like, are they actually going to show behind the mask in this series, or they're not? Like I don't. It's like I want to see, but I don't want to see. I want to leave it up to the imagination.
They look like feline creatures. Their faces. I don't think they have fur, but they look feline-esque.
Yeah,
like those hairless cats. Yeah, they're weird. They're not human. They can't interbreed with human creatures either.
So yeah,
So
I've
there
read
are
the comic
some
books and I've seen the movies, but I've never seen like the Clone Wars or the Rebels or any of that. So I'm not up to that lore. I'm sure
Are
the
they
movies and some of the
in there?
comics. Yeah.
They look like Dr. Evil's cat. And there are some of them they do take human prisoners sometimes. The Tusken Raiders will take prisoners of war and raise them up, and then they become members. And they have to cover. That's the one thing I was like watching, and I was like, are they going to make him cover his face up and stuff? Because it's part of like almost like a religion. They don't show any of their skin at all. They cover completely up. In private they can, but in public they don't.
You know what? I also just remembered.
Oh man, I mean, I'm hoping beyond hope that this is going to get better. That the last 4 episodes are going to we're going to have this discussion next week, and James is going to be like, you know what, this is the best show ever. That one episode.
I won't say that. I won't say it based off one. I'm just, it's just disappointing that we're in a position where it's just like, we hope it gets better. We hope it gets better. Like, it seems like with all these shows, it's like, we hope it gets better,
Yeah. And then there's me. I've had so much fun watching other shows like recently that are away from Star Wars. Like, for instance, I just finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the final season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which actually I thought was a real downer, to be honest. But yeah, that show was so good for so long. And then I don't know, I just really feel like Star Wars this show's worried me a bit, because I'm a bit like, well, if this is what they were planning on doing from the very beginning with the Book of Boba Fett,
I don't
like, what's gonna I'm a bit like, what's gonna happen with the Ahsoka Tano show? What's gonna happen with what's the other one that they're doing?
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan and Cassian Andor. The Andor series is one that I'm really like. There seems to be no hype around that show at all. And it's a bit of a weird show to do anyway, because you know that the lead character in it is going to die anyway, which is a bit weird. But I don't know. They've made some interesting choices. I don't think they're the best choices. I just want them to I want them to just develop new stories and bring in new characters. That's why I like The Mandalorian so much.
Like, I didn't really know anything about Ahsoka until The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Again, because I'm not deep into the lore of the animated series. Like, I try to get into the first Clone Wars. I think that was the problem. I didn't like the art style, and I didn't give it a chance. So therefore, I just fell behind, and now there's like a decade worth of cartoons to watch. I just don't have the time. As I watch season 4 of The Wire right now.
Oh man, it's just sorry, my Siri's going off. I expected it to be so much better, but what's the next? What's the next? Because we've been talking for over an hour about Book of Boba Fett. I think it was Doctor Strange 2. I was going to talk.
You guys have a good night. I'm out.
Okay. James,
later, dude. Have a good night. I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you. Now Clint won't be annoyed.
I'm not annoyed ever.
No, he just does this thing, Clint. When he can't talk, he just goes like this.
I get excited.
Yeah,
that's me.
I get excited so that I don't talk over people. I'm like, okay, I have to shut your mouth and lean back. And then I have a mild convulsion. Yeah, and then I lean forward.
I think I wanted to get your Clint. First off, I wanted to know, who do you think is going to be turning up? Bye, James.
No matter where you go, there you are.
What's that from?
Was that enough? Get out!
I thought that was James. I had my eyes closed. The guy's voice sounded just like James.
He did, yeah.
Buckaroo Banzai. It's Peter Weller.
Okay. There you go. One last
James Weller.
James, he just couldn't help himself. It's like he's vomiting them out now. There you go. There's another one. This one of his favorite ones.
That's a good one.
It's a very good one. It's kind of hypnotizing, isn't it? You just kind of watch it for hours. All right, James, get rid of it. Oh, he's left it on. He's left it on and buggered off, and now I've got to work out how to take
Now
it
you've
off.
got to figure it out.
Oh my god, James, you're so annoying.
I'll just.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
How do you do it, James? What are you doing? I did it. He's got so many bloody memes. Oh dear. But thanks, James. But no, I wanted to know. Talking of cameos, we've been talking a lot about cameos. There've been a lot of rumors surrounding. Was it Doctor Strange 2? Oh, he's back. he just can't leave. Doctor Strange 2. Yeah, there are lots of rumors. Who do you think is going to cameo in this film?
Man, I don't know. There's so many rumors out there. I've heard all kinds of stuff. I've heard Blade showing, like Wesley Snipes Blade. I've heard everybody's been talking about Tom Cruise Iron Man.
That's a weird one.
It's a weird one, but
where did that come from?
Legend has it that he was supposed to he was in the running to play the role in the very beginning, and then it ended up going to Robert Downey Jr. Same with the Krasinski as Captain America, and so and so then people are saying that somebody said, hey man, you know what would be fun if all these people that were supposed to possibly almost play it, we'll just throw them in there. It'll be fun for them. They get to play that role for a few minutes, and then and it'll be cool. And then I've heard possibly Jean-Luc Picard be in it, Professor Xavier be in it, could be in it, and like I've heard a lot of things. Hugh Jackman is one that I've heard. I mean, geez, who knows? Who knows who's going to be in it? And pretty much it's open season. If you look at what they did with Spider-Man, that means potentially any Marvel guy ever could be in it. You could have Lou Ferrigno show up in green makeup. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, it's wacky madness. Wacky universe of madness. Woo! So who knows? I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a list here. So the list is we've got Captain Carter, apparently is one of the cameos that could come. Patrick Stewart is another one. Then we've got the Tom Cruise one. That would literally break everything if Tom Cruise ended up being in this movie. And then there was another one. Oh yeah, Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Oh
There's another one I saw. That'd be bloody weird, especially after him. He's just like, I'm not doing like these things anymore. I don't want to play Batman anymore, but I'm gonna do like a cameo as Daredevil just randomly,
just to blow people's minds. And
not Mahershala. It would be Wesley Snipes. Blade is the one that's. I get the feeling that this is just a wish list of people being like, we would love these actors to be in this movie, and then if they're all in the movie, then it's just like, I'm like, is this a Doctor Strange movie anymore? Or is it just a parade of random people?
If they're gonna do that, they better have Nick Cage Ghost Rider. Come on.
Yeah, that's the other one that it's like people are saying that there's like a supposed like a set photo leak or something with Nicolas Cage apparently, and then I looked it up and some people are saying it's faked, but I mean. Oh god, this yes, and the original Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four movies, the guy that played him is the other one that they're saying. It would be so weird. It would just be such a bizarre film if you've got all this stuff going on. And again, maybe it's just like images that kind of pop up of these other David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury. That would be funny. That would be an interesting one.
What's the one that I've heard and the most hopeful, the one I'm most hopeful for is the Inhumans, the cast from the Inhumans TV show. I want them to be in this. I hope James is still listening. Can you imagine if the Inhumans show up? What? Like, yes.
Oh god! I for a second then I thought you meant the Eternals, and I was like,
no,
that'd be cool.
The Inhumans.
The TV show. Oh my
Remember,
god!
For those of you who haven't yet, go watch the Inhumans video on small screen on the YouTube channel.
A funny one.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So so a lot of these rumors are coming from Grace Randolph or Randolph. She's saying that the movie is going to be a horror movie, is a horror movie. She's saying that Wanda is the main villain and will not be watered down. And apparently America Chavez, who we know is going to be in the movie, she's apparently brilliant in it. So all this kind of stems from this supposed screening of the movie that Marvel Studios did for Disney employees, which kind of, I'm a bit like, oh yeah, Grace Reynolds says has strong horror vibes, which is
cool.
I mean, I was expecting this the minute they said Sam Raimi's directing it. I was like, okay, Raimi is the king of horror. But then you've got all that stuff about Scott Derrickson leaving the movie because he said that, creative differences. Basically, he wanted to make the movie more of a horror movie than what Marvel wanted. So, what do you think?
I mean, it's very much the conversation we're having about the Acolyte. Like you have an opportunity. I mean, we all saw Wanda at the end credit scene where she's sitting there flipping through the Darkhold. I was going to say the Necronomicon, flipping through the Darkhold, while she's projecting an image of herself, making tea and doing this thing with all these black, evil spell action going on. It was like cool. This is fun and dark and scary, and like if they're gonna run with that, cool. Like, do it, man. Bring it. I want to see her eyes rolled back into her head and breathing fire and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like a mama cat that is or mama possum that is protecting their young. Yeah. She wants her family back, and I think she's had a mild breakdown. Well, she obviously did in WandaVision. I think she's a little bit off and very powerful, and I think the possibilities with that are pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's something about that book, isn't it, that she's that she's using? It kind of corrupts people.
Yeah,
who I can't remember the name of.
It's the Darkhold.
The dark. So it's basically the what's it called? The Necronomicon.
It's like the Necronomicon,
like
but
yeah. And I like that because that's links to Sam Raimi's past as like the director of the Evil Dead, and there's the book of. Was it the Book of Souls or something? Is in that Book of the Dead or something that's in that? So another rumor is that talking of the Evil Dead is that what's his face? The guy that played
Bruce
Ash,
Campbell.
Bruce Campbell is going to turn up as an alternate version of Doctor Strange, which I think would be really awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he was filming in London as well, so I'm pretty certain he's going to be in that movie, and it's a Sam Raimi movie, so it kind of makes sense to have him be in it.
Yeah, he's in all of his. He was in all three. He kept popping up in Spider-Man movies. Yeah, he kept popping up. He was a waiter.
He was a waiter. He was I think it was Spider-Man 3 or 2, where he was the maître d' of a French restaurant, and he literally turned up like this and was like, Mr. Parker. It was that whole weird scene where he's trying to say the name Parker. Turns out he was going to be Mysterio in Spider-Man 4.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first Spider-Man movie, he's the announcer.
Yep.
In the cage fight. The second Spider-Man movie, I can't remember, and I think it's the third one where he's the maître d', and then in the fourth one, he was meant to, the beginning of it, be captured by Spider-Man. And it turns out he was actually Mysterio. That would have been really cool. That would have been cool. Oh, shame. I love Bruce Campbell. I love it. I think he's great.
He's hilarious in everything he does. Burn Notice, especially. That's where I fell in love with Bruce Campbell. I watched a lot of Burn Notice, and every time I'm like, oh, awesome. Every time he's on screen, I'm a happy man. Well, who do you think's going to show up in this?
Well, I think Bruce Campbell is a definite yes. I'm actually, I have I actually know that he's going to be in the movie. There you go. There's a small screen exclusive for you. He is in the movie. I don't know who he's playing. That's the only thing. I don't know who he's playing. I do not believe for 1 second that Tom Cruise is going to be in this film, because Tom Cruise is very busy at the moment with everything else he's doing. And also just don't think that would cost them way too much money. Although apparently Sony spent a heck of a lot of money to just get Tobey Maguire to come back. for Spider-Man No Way Home. Apparently, his fee for that was extraordinarily high. But he's got all those gambling debts to pay off.
Does he really?
The guy has been sued by more billionaires than any other person, because there's this it's an incredible story. He won so much money from them because he was a high stakes poker player for a long time. He played in these secret poker games. If you've watched Molly's Game, the character that Michael Cera plays in that movie is Tobey Maguire. And he's so good at poker. He just beat them all hands down, and then they all sued him to try and get their money back. So he was for years he was constantly in court, and it led to the breakup of his marriage and stuff because he was just too good at playing poker and apparently a bit of an asshole. I was reading up all about his antics today. It was quite interesting. But Tom Cruise, I don't think so. I think what was the other ones that popped up? I don't think they're going to be as Nick Cage. I don't think is going to be in this. I think this is very wishful thinking after Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't think there are going to be as many cameos as people are hoping there will be. I think it'll probably be more of a kind of straight, because they've got so much to deal with in this film. This movie is probably the movie that's going to bring in the X-Men. So maybe you might see Hugh Jackman turn up. I wouldn't be surprised about that. And and Charles Xavier. I think that would be interesting. Also, the fact that Patrick Stewart did meet with Kevin Feige, and I'm pretty sure that was for that movie. Because we all thought he might be in WandaVision, but then no, we all hoped, but no. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he was in Doctor Strange too. But and to be honest, that would be enough. Imagine if you have Patrick Stewart turn up. I think everyone would be very happy with that. I think less is more, and it would make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. But then there's the question of who is the real villain of this movie. So Grace Randolph is saying that it is WandaVision, but then the trailer makes it seem as though it's evil Doctor Strange, literally taken out of What If, which I love. Well, what did you think of that? What did you think of the trailer? Because I haven't spoken to you since that came out.
I thought it was cool. I really didn't make a lot of sense out of it. I was just like, okay, there's evil Doctor Strange. What's going to happen? I mean, I don't know. I almost don't want to watch the trailer too many more times. I saw it really quick on my phone, and I kind of just want to keep. Part of me wants to go in and dissect every scene, every image, everything. But then the other part of me is like, no, let's not do this. Let's not ruin this. So that's kind of how I've been doing it. And honestly, I've been super busy since it came out. I saw it on my phone, and then I never went back to try and dissect anything.
Well, I think that's probably the best way to go, especially with this movie, because I think that trailer, as we saw with Spider-Man No Way Home, the trailers are a big misdirect anyway. And I'm pretty sure that only not even a third of this movie has been shown, and they only just finished doing the reshoots. So reportedly, the reshoots were to add. Again, I'm hearing this is rumors on online. Don't take this as scripture, but apparently they were to add in certain cameos. Who knows? I'm just happy to see Sam Raimi back in directing another comic book movie. I think that to me is just the big thing about this film. Massive Sam Raimi fan. He hasn't really made anything in a long time. I think, was it Drag Me to Hell? Was his last movie, maybe? I think.
I don't know. I heard this movie had a long runtime, that it was going to be really long movie. Again, this is all coming from one particular person. People, for some reason, don't like me mentioning her, but it is Grace Randolph. Is saying that it's going to be 2 hours long. The current cut approximately 2 hours, but with no credits or end scene. So, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home was 2 hours and a half? Yeah, 2.5 hours. Yeah. Bring it, man. Give me a 3.5 hour movie. I want to see that.
Well, how long was Avengers Endgame?
Was like 3 hours.
Was that?
I think it was 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with these sorts of films, the time goes. Like I watched Spider-Man No Way Home twice, and it didn't feel long to me at all. And then I watched a film after that called Licorice Pizza, which
Uh-huh.
is the new Paul Thomas Anderson film, which is a lot shorter but felt a heck of a lot longer. I could tell you that. But
Dude, Endgame was 2 hours and 3 hours and 2 minutes.
bloody hell. Yeah.
That's a long
That's a long movie. It was fun though. It was good fun. It was worth it. Those sorts of films, I think they merit being that long because they try and put so much into it. So maybe this one, and it comes out in May. I am super pumped to see this movie. Doctor Strange 2, I think, is my most anticipated Marvel movie of the year. I'm much more interested in this one than Thor: Love and Thunder. I am interested in that film as well, but I don't know. I think it's the Sam Raimi effect for me, and
Yeah.
I think Doctor Strange is becoming. He's like almost like the linchpin now, I think, of the MCU. He's like the main guy, I think, going forward. So I'm interested to see what happens there. And the fact that this is going to break up the multiverse, I think is going to be an incredibly important movie for the MCU.
I hate that he's got Jupiter's Legacy's wig man. Like his wig keeps looking cheaper and cheaper every time I see him. I'm like, what's going on with Doctor Strange's hair? I don't remember it looking that bad in the Doctor Strange movies or in Endgame. But all of a sudden in Spider-Man, I'm like, what? Did they use Sony's wig guy or something? Because something's going on here.
They used Mark Millar's personal wig people.
Exactly. I was like, what the hell is happening with this? I don't like this.
He's got so much work recently. He or she, whoever did the wigs for that series. Wow, there have been some bad wigs. There were some bad wigs in 2021. I have to say, yeah, I get what you mean. It looks, but I do like the fact that in Spider-Man: No Way Home, there's a scene where you see the hair dye, which I quite liked. I thought, oh, that's quite funny.
Oh, it's funny.
That was a good one.
It's like they lowered the bar for wigs. They're like, you know what? This is acceptable now. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's bring in a shitty wig. Maybe because he looked all right to begin with. I think you're right. I think it's kind of got worse as we've gone along. Maybe they're skimping in certain areas because they're having to pay people like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield a shit ton of money to turn up in these movies. Maybe it's the Tom Cruise money cut into the wig budget.
I know you're not very excited about this film, but I'm kind of bummed that Morbius got pushed back. Look, I'm excited to see that movie. I think it could be cool. I've always liked vampires anyway, but I'm like, man,
that movie to me is a bit of. I mean, I think if Sony is they've pushed it back 7 times now.
I know it's really bad.
And you think they obviously want it to succeed as much as it can, so that's why they've done it. It's because of Omicron, and they want it to do as well as it possibly can do. I just don't. The trailers didn't do it for me. Jared Leto doesn't really do it for me either, to be honest. I really liked him in House of Gucci. I thought he was really funny in that film. He does this. He is so ridiculous in the movie. He has this ridiculous Italian accent. He's like, oh, and he goes, poof, like constantly doing these weird sounds. And I remember watching, I was like, is that him? And then you see certain facial features that are like there, and then you realize, God, it is. And he is literally like a comedic character in that movie. But there's that one line in the Morbius trailer that I loved, which is like when he's like, who the hell are you? And he's like, I'm Venom. And then he's like, I just kidding. It's like, I was like, okay, that's
that made me think it could be fun. I was like, hey, this might be fun.
Yeah. I want it to be good because Morbius is like such a fun. He's not fun. He's a tragic character, but a really interesting one. And I just don't trust Sony with these standalone like Marvel movies like that. Like, let's be honest, Venom: Let There Be Carnage was pretty bad. Like, it was not bad. It was average. It was just very average. The first Venom movie I think was better. Like, I rewatched Venom: Let There Be Carnage, and I was like, it literally starts and then it ends almost. and there's not enough carnage in that film at all.
Much like the Matrix movie, it was like, okay, this was a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it was that kind of thing. It was like,
I was glad I wasn't at work. I got to see a movie, you know? Like,
it didn't really make me feel anything, that film. I think that was the thing about it. And I get the feeling that Morbius is going to be the same, but who knows? Who knows?
Hopefully we're wrong, you know? Hopefully it's really good. I'm going to be hopeful about this. I really want Morbius to be good, and I'm not going to talk smack until I see it.
Let's live in hope. Yes,
we're going to live in hope.
Live and hope that it's good. I want every movie to be good. Every movie that I go and see. I never go into a film hoping for it to be bad. Unless certain people are involved in it that are not so, you know, reputable people. Maybe you're like, all right, I would like this movie to. Well, I don't know, like let's say Joss Whedon makes another movie.
Oh.
I don't know.
Like, I don't think you have to worry about that.
Yeah. Oh, God. Imagine. Oh dear. But
it's taken Mel Gibson how long to get back in the saddle?
I watched Fat Man the other day. Have you seen that film?
Mm-mm.
It's actually really fun.
I thought it would be. I thought it would be. Like Black Shirt Podcast, we did a little thing about that. We're talking about that movie, and the other guy, I can't think of the other guy that's in that, but the other hitman, he's badass and everything. So we were both pretty excited about seeing that.
Okay, I think I wanted to end the show today on a bit of I want to know. I want you to talk a little bit about the Batman. Because we haven't had a chance to talk about this since. First off, do you think the release date is going to be pushed? And what are your excitement levels for this movie?
My excitement levels for any Batman movie are always high. I love Batman movies, and I like to see the new take. And maybe it's going to suck, and maybe it's going to be awesome. It never sucks. It's always good. Like, it doesn't matter who plays Batman. It's always good. If it made it to the big screen, it's going to be good. Colin Farrell is as the Penguin, badass. Jeremy Wright as Commissioner Gordon, badass. Just like everybody involved in this movie is awesome. And the first trailer looked incredible, and everything that I see from this looks incredible. And I like the idea of a young, impulsive, young Batman who's angry still, kicking a lot of ass, and that's what we're going to get. So and I've heard also this is going to be detective heavy. This is going to really focus on how Batman is the world's greatest detective. So I think that's a new twist that we haven't gotten. I think that's going to be cool. So you know, sometimes different iterations I like more than others. You know, Gotham the series was okay. It was fun until I started getting bored with it. You know what I mean? Different versions of Batman are always good, but this looks like it's going to be something exciting, and I hope there's a lot of ass kicking. That's what I hope. And I also want to see Alfred peeling Batman off the sidewalk a couple of times because he hasn't figured out how to be invincible yet, and he's getting his ass kicked also. That's what I would like. The same way that Daredevil gets beat up and also does a lot of beating up, I'd like to see a little bit of that because he's young and hasn't quite figured it out.
That's a good comparison to make. I do wonder whether the Batman is going to be a bit like the first season of Daredevil, in the sense that he's still trying to find. You know, he is. I think the movie is going to establish that he is already Batman from the beginning of the film. But I get the sense that, I mean, first off, Robert Pattinson casting incredible.
Oh yeah,
like such. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but you know, just. I've seen every movie he's done since the Twilight movies. I've also seen all the Twilight movies. He's brilliant in every film he's been in since the Twilight franchise. He has been just one of the best actors, I think, working. Like I remember watching him in The Rover. I was like wow. He did a bunch of movies with David Cronenberg. So he was in Maps to the Stars and Cosmopolis, and he was brilliant in Cosmopolis, even though the film I thought was a bit meh. But then there was the film that did it for me was a film called Good Time, which is on Netflix now.
What's it called?
And Good Time. It's
Okay.
called. And he is so good in that movie, like that. And he's someone that's really honed his craft, and he really deserves this. And I also think he'd be perfect for Bond as well. Like he's always been someone. And then I watched Tenet again relatively recently, trying to understand that movie. He is so good in that as well. So he's someone that I have a lot of faith and confidence in. That I think, and also just looking at the trailers, he just looks so raw. So there's so much energy there and anger, and that's just from seeing. And then all this bullshit that's been coming out about how he refused to work out and there were problems on set. It's all crap. Let me tell you that. But it's Batman is my number one most anticipated movie of the year, and there have been rumors that they might push it, which is a bit. I was a bit worried about because of the coronavirus pandemic. It's due to come out on, I think it's May 4th, March 4th. I think it's coming out. So very soon, like just over a month, we're going to be seeing the Batman.
Yes, I hope this flare-up flares down by that point. Like, I hope this, because with the new strain, it seems to be way more contagious.
Yeah.
And not quite. The symptoms don't seem to be as bad, and it seems to get people that I know that have been getting it have seemed to be getting through it a lot faster. So I'm hoping it just burns hot and then burns out, and then we can go back to the movies. Like, let's get this over with, like a match, just whoosh, and then we're back to the movies. That's what I would like to see. I love that scene with Batman beating the hell out of one of those guys. He hits him a bunch of times and then he stops, and then he has to go back for a couple more hits. Like, he's like, and it to me that says like he's thinking with his heart and angry, and not as much with his logical brain. And I like an impulsive young guy who's gonna beat the hell out of a bunch of hooligans. So I think that's cool.
I mean, we did see that a bit in Batman Begins, but he never really lost control in that. And I think that's actually quite an important part to the whole Batman story, is that he has to learn, like, to actually not pull back his punches, but he has to learn to be more in control, which is the only way he can beat these villains. The Batman has the best villains. Like the Riddler is, God, Paul Dano just looks so good in this movie. Like, I don't care if people are like, oh, he looks like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. I think he looks brilliant. I think he's such a good actor. I also don't think he's going to be the main villain of the movie. I think there's someone else that's going to be in this as well. I have a sneaky suspicion that one of the actors is playing a certain the clown prince of crime. I just think they're gonna tease that in this movie.
Jack Nicholson's coming back as the Joker.
Yeah, you've heard it here first. No, apparently it's Barry. What's his name? Barry Keoghan, the guy that plays that he's in the Eternals.
In the Eternals, well. Yeah.
Yeah, there are rumors that he and then Penguin. I think he's going to have a relatively small part in this movie, but literally, Colin Farrell looks unrecognizable in this, and he's also going to get his own spin-off show, which is going to be weird.
Yes,
but I'm looking forward to all of it. Yeah, I'm really just looking forward to all of this. I think, and if I've heard a lot of people saying they're going to boycott the movie, please don't, because honestly, I think the film's going to be great. Oh, it's all Snyderverse stuff.
Oh. That's super silly, dude. It's like, sorry, I don't want to get going. But
yeah, I just say if you like DC, if you like Batman, just go and see it. And if you don't like the movie, then let that be known. But honestly, like, don't deprive yourself of seeing a film that potentially could be one of the best comic book movies you've ever watched just because you don't like a certain studio. I mean, there are other people that have been involved in this movie. They've put a lot of effort into it, and Matt Reeves is someone he's given us nothing but incredible films. If you look at his back catalogue of movies, like literally Planet for the War of War for the Planet of the Apes is an incredible movie. Like I watched that in the cinema, and it's by far the best Planet of the Apes movie. He did the second one as well. I'm always going to forget the names because I think the naming of them is stupid. But he did the last two, and they were really good. And he also did Cloverfield, which is a really good movie as well. Like, really fun film. And I just have a lot of faith in him. I have a lot of faith in Robert Pattinson. I think this is one of the best casts ever assembled for a Batman movie, let alone a Batman movie, a comic book movie. Literally every single actor in this is an incredible actor. Like, you named all of them there.
All of them. Yeah, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell, Jeffrey Wright, excuse me, Andy Serkis, John Turturro, Peter Sarsgaard, Barry Keoghan,
Zoe Kravitz. Keown, I think, is the way you say it. Keown,
I mean, everyone on the I'm sitting at J.K. Simmons. I'm looking up here. Everyone in this movie is fantastic.
Is J.K. Simmons in it?
According to it doesn't say who he is, but he's on there.
Is he?
According to Google, yeah. Unless it's a typo, but yeah. But it's crazy. The whole cast. I mean, just Andy Serkis alone. I'm down to go see the movie. Here's $10. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. You know, I'm excited. I also like the Moon Knight little clip that I saw. Had him just beating somebody in the shadows, and that got me excited for that too. I'm excited. I'm excited about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Moon Knight apparently is going to come out pretty soon, is what I'm hearing. 30th of March. That's really soon.
Speaking of things coming out, have you seen Peacemaker yet?
Not yet, because it hasn't come out in like outside of the US, because we don't have have HBO Max. I know, it's really annoying.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. I've seen the first 3 episodes. Peacemaker is really good. At first, it's a lot of dick and fart jokes. I mean, and at first, for a second, much like a Danny McBride movie, you know, Eastbound and Down, you know who Danny McBride is. Yeah. Like that, or South Park or something. For a second, I flinched for a second, and I go, okay, am I getting too old for this sort of thing? For just a second, and then all of a sudden, I got sucked in, and I love the show, and it's really good, and it's bigger than just that. But in true form to what he does, it's really good, and the story is fantastic. So.
I've got to watch that, and then we can talk about the first. Well, I suppose at that point it'd be first 4 episodes, won't it, next week? So we'll have to talk about that next week. I'll try and find it. But it's really difficult to find in Europe.
I laughed really hard, and I was like, dude, is he just trying to trigger everyone? There's a lot of trigger stuff. I was like, I think he's trolling everyone with this show. Yeah. There's a lot of things to get triggered over, and I loved it. It was really funny. It was really good.
Well, we'll talk about that next week, and I'm already looking forward to that discussion. But I think we've almost come up to 2 hours, and Clint, I've kept you long enough for your first show back of 2022.
I had a great time, man. I had a great time. We got to talk about the Book of Boba Fett from all angles, and that's the cool thing. That's the cool thing about conversations on shows like this. It's like if we all were on the exact same page about every single detail, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. And I really look forward to every Friday coming in here, hanging out with everybody in the chat, and discussing these shows. So thank you guys for being so cool and making me feel wanted while I was gone. And I missed you guys. And man, I can't wait till next Friday.
We missed you, and got to bring up this. Thank you very much, Danzig, for the 449. Saying great show, gents. Thank you so much, Danzig, and thank you to everyone in the chat. I haven't been bringing up your comments enough today, but I was, we were doing some proper discussion about everything we've been watching, which is nice. And this is an outlet for me, and it's great having you on, Clint, every week. Can't wait for 2022. I can't wait to talk about all these awesome comic book movies, Star Wars stuff. We've got so much coming out this year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
JLS Comics, thanks for the shout out, man. And where can they find me? They can find me on
Yes.
on Twitter at the OG Clint Baker. And if you're not friends on Twitter yet, or I don't know if we're not, do they say friends on if we don't
Not
if you're not
following me,
following
yes.
if you're not following me, sorry guys. Then you should. But I'm gonna be doing a show later tonight
There you
with I'm gonna be doing a show later tonight with in probably about an hour with Curtis. Well, we'll be talking about a bunch of stuff. So if you're still looking for a stream, come hang out with me there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. I'm also on Facebook. There you go.
Everyone go and follow Clint, and then you can follow me here at this awful picture of me, small screen EJ Lauder, and that I think that'll about do it for this episode of the return of the. I wanted to put the return of the Clint Baker.
Oh, you should have.
Like the rise of and I thought that would be funny. And then thank you for this. This was brilliant. And there you are, Clint. You always wanted to be a Jedi.
Oh, yes.
And there you are as a Jedi. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys, and goodbye.
Yeah, I'm very busy. What's going on?